What's going on, you guys? Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in. Your support is always appreciated once again, and let's get right into it. So, just to quickly summarize how I did again, it was another red day if you guys saw, but it definitely was contained. And I was down $36 on TQs, and I was up a whopping $2 on SQs, right? So, I'm going to be rich today. And here are all my filled orders. I had 169 of them. So definitely there's a lot of them. Feel free to pause the video and kind of look at them in detail if you guys want. But since there's a lot of them, I'm just going to cover what went wrong today and how you could have really looked to make money on the NASDAQ. So once again, just to let you guys know, to remind you guys if you haven't tuned into an earlier video, but I always trade the NASDAQ and the two ETFs that correlate with it, which are TQQQ, and you'll notice that it acts it basically mirrors the NASDAQ, right? It looks exactly like it. And SQQQ, if you guys will pay attention, will look like the exact opposite of that chart right there, right? So they basically act as inverse ETFs, which is why they are called that, and they act opposite of each other. So TQQQ will push up and SQQQ will push down, and vice versa. So that's a way you can make money when the NASDAQ starts to fall on a day like today. Because with a big fall, as you guys can tell, right, the overall direction was just downtrending. If you guys will notice, SQQQ was up a lot on the day, right? It was an absolute monster today, and unfortunately, I couldn't take advantage of it. And I want to walk through with you guys kind of what went wrong today, but in terms of my trading, right here is when the market opened up at 6:30 in the morning, right around here. And as you guys will just notice, there was a lot of chop again, and choppiness is something I really do poorly with. I struggle to find direction, and I did end up taking a few red trades that got me, it basically piled up a nice little loss that I was uncomfortable with, and just like yesterday's video, I did start piling up losses, but I made sure to want to really stay with direction on the day and go with direction. And I really did try that, but unfortunately, I did get caught up in an average up where I fully averaged up and then it went south on a nice little big red candle, and I ended up, taking a nice little hit. So I had to basically end up making it back, but there was this nice little move up for TQQQ, and right around here, if you'll notice that 7:10 in the morning was when we hit the highs. And ever since then, we ended up just constantly making lower lows and lower highs. And the NASDAQ started to now trend below this blue EMA line here. So it was acting as a resistance now, and what that means now is that anytime you'll notice the NASDAQ tries to basically approach this line now, it gets rejected and ends up wanting to keep selling off, right? That's what it means for something to form a resistance, and it obviously did a good job, and I missed this nice, large SQQQ play, right? And where I went wrong really was I piled up my losses too big, and when I did start going with direction, I didn't feel comfortable getting fully averaged in, right? And let's say I only bought in with another half, so instead of being in with the full $10,000, I'd only be in with $5,000. If the trade did go my way, once I took advantage of it, I basically just made back the money I lost, or I was still a little red because I was just piling up the losses, and I really just need to do a better job of not getting so kind of trigger happy. I kept trying to take trade after trade, and I really just need to cool off when the direction isn't clear. So you guys will notice that when the NASDAQ did trend below the blue line, the blue EMA line here, it does a great job at just holding for the direction to keep showing you that it's going to keep downtrending, right? Anytime you see it really stayed below it, it may have briefly picked back up above it, but it really just got rejected after that and kept selling off, right? This is one of those times why it's so important to keep going with direction, because you could have kept trying to predict the bottom only to keep getting wrecked, right? And yeah, unfortunately I couldn't take advantage of it, but you will notice where these little plays when the NASDAQ does start to recover a bit and make this little move up. If you'll pay attention, it starts to trend above this blue EMA line here, and it starts to use it as a support now instead of a resistance. So basically anytime it nears it, it starts to bounce off of it now to uptrend. And it's not until kind of it breaks below again where it tries to fall. And obviously it's not perfect, right? It's not like right when the NASDAQ breaks above this, it has to push up. But what I've noticed is it's in your best interest to go with direction and just make sure there is kind of a clear direction. Don't try and get in, let's say for a play up on TQQQ, if this were to break above briefly like it did here, because just wait for more confirmation that it does want to start uptrending. Because if you don't and just sent it here for TQQQ, obviously it reversed and you could end up taking a big hit which you weren't expecting or anything like that. So I just want you guys to really be prepared for everything. And as far as where we are in the NASDAQ, looking at it in the big picture, today was kind of a little critical day. If you guys remember seeing the charts yesterday, we were still trending above the blue EMA line here. And today we were either going to test it, the same pattern, and keep trying to bounce off it and rallying, or we're going to have what we had today, which is it just didn't want to follow this pattern and it broke below the support right here, this blue EMA line, and it started to fall drastically. And that's why we did have a nice little sell-off there too. But yeah, so our account today did take a nice little hit. We basically lost everything we made yesterday, I believe, and a little more on top. So yeah, there was a lot of movement today, and just really excited for the future and the rest of the week, how it's gonna look. Thank you guys so much for tuning back in. I hope you all had an amazing day, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Take care.